And so what we do is we generate prescriptive, what I like to call prescriptive recommendations across the journey, and help product marketers and engineers make some holistic data-driven decisions. Candidates that stand out, one, they do their homework, which is they know why they want to join MongoDB, what attracts them to the role, thinking about how they can add value more proactively to the organization and the company, and further the mission of MongoDB. That's
Hi all, good morning. So today I have Hrishank with us, who is an analytics and data science leader interested in helping businesses grow with insights. He is a continuous learner, public speaker, and a mentor. Let's welcome Hrishank on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, where he will tell us about where he works, what he's learned along the way, and how we can learn from his learning. Hi Hrishank, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Minal. Very excited to be here.
Of
Thank you.
course. So Hrishank, would love to understand where you work, what your role is within the company, and what you've learned along the way mostly.
Yeah. So I lead product analytics at MongoDB, and I have a team of some rock star analysts and some an economist who focus on driving insights at scale. And what do I mean by that? We dig pretty deeply into our product and its adoption and our customer journey, and really the intersection of that to help MongoDB become a much more immersive developer data platform. And so what we do is we generate prescriptive, what I like to call prescriptive recommendations across the journey, and help product marketers and engineers make some holistic data-driven decisions. So we do that through, like I said, prescriptive analytics, through data products, through some causal inference, and really just culture building and inserting ourselves in the right places at the right time. Um,
Okay. A follow-up question. So I think MongoDB specifically, a lot of companies were not so lucky when it came to the pandemic. But MongoDB continued to grow and the company saw an increase in the share stock prices and everything. Why do you think MongoDB stood out compared to other companies specifically when it came to the pandemic?
oh, it's quite interesting because one, we have a really good product. It's a very easy to use product, and honestly, developers love our product. Um, I think we also saw a huge uptick in people creating companies around the time, and so because MongoDB is it's a database that is not really relational. It's much easier for developers to work on because they can create different constructs and put and start working on their idea ASAP. That applies obviously to larger and more well-established companies as well, because developers don't really think relationally. Or at least they don't, prefer to. And our NoSQL database, which is our one of our main offerings called Atlas, enables them to do that quite easily. So we've just been growing, and I think through the pandemic, we had obviously a larger influx of industry trends customers are our customers now who've been creating a lot of apps, as well as the world becoming more digitized because people are really going out. So they saw our offering and what it can do for them, and it became kind of a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And initially, you mentioned that you have a team of rockstar data analysts. So, Rishang, because you're a leader yourself, you've been in the space for a while. If someone is wanting to enter the field of data analyst, become a data analyst themselves, what are some of the key characteristics that would make them stand out compared to other candidates who might be applying for the same job?
Yeah, I think it depends on the job you're applying for. There are companies that care a lot about descriptive analytics, who are very statistical in nature. Think airlines and pricing that they do around leveraging analytics. So the TLDR is, think about what company you're applying to and why they are hiring for this role. And cater or describe your skill set in a way that just resonates with it. But more generally, if I had to give some more cookie cutter advice, I guess, be strong on your stats. Think about yourself as a thought partner as opposed to support. If you're a thought partner, you will really put yourself in the shoes of product or marketing or BizOps or whatever your partner is, and you'll just be that person, but more informed with data. And so if you can do that, you'll really shine.
Okay, no, no, that helps. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rishang. And Rishang, because you have a team of your own people, you must do a lot of hiring for your team. What are some of the characteristics you look for when people apply for a job within your team, for instance? What kind of personality skills makes a candidate be like, okay, this is a candidate that could thrive in our team? Can you maybe elaborate a little more on that?
Yeah. So again, it's a bit more situational because it depends on the company. But for MongoDB specifically, I think about how product analytics can drive value to the organization. And so think about that across four different pillars at the moment. And so those are, telemetry, which is making sure that we capture the right amount of data and the right type of data so that we can analyze it and add value to engineering and product. That's a non-trivial problem for us, and we invest a certain amount of brain power towards it. We have experimentation and really thinking about experiments and how you can analyze them deeply, as well as provide actionable recommendations and insights associated with them. Then we have causal inference in the absence of A/B testing through observational studies, which lends itself really well to econometrics. And then we have data products. So those are your deep dive observational analyses, model building, whether it's for go-to-market or product or engineering, being kind of a de facto data science product management or for interfacing with our data science team, and anything else in the middle. So when I think about hiring, I think about what the team could benefit from across these pillars, and or if my pillars are right to begin with, and then try to fill the gap as based on candidates, whether we need to beef up our experimentation. Then I would look for people who are very strong experimentation scientists, if you will, or if you just want people to go really deep into data and just analyze it and be prescriptive, then I'm looking for the people who are more hard partner like in their approach to. So it really depends, but it's very much based on the vision that I want product analytics to what I want product analytics to drive for the company, and how they fit into that picture.
No, no, I think that's very helpful, especially because you described the four pillars, and based on that, you describe certain situations. Because at the end of the day, you really need to make sure that you include the culture, the vision of the company as part of your answers, just because it makes you seem like you've done your research about the company, which is
Yeah.
something that's very important. So thank you for sharing that, Rishan. Next question, Rishan, how did you become a part of MongoDB? Was it through a friend who was part of the company? Was it through a referral? These days, it's so interesting because there's so many people who are coming in through referrals. So would love to
Well,
understand your journey.
honestly, it was I had stayed in touch with MongoDB along the years. I remember one of the recruiters who reached out to me a few years ago, and at that time I wasn't really ready to make a move when I was at Amazon. And but we stayed in touch, and then when I saw this role open up, I reached out to her, and she is still working here, and we connected, and that just uh, created. We had an exploratory chat. It seemed like a really interesting opportunity because I've been following Mongo and all the great things that they've been doing, and she connected me with the hiring manager, and then we just clicked, and we just took it from there.
Okay, well, this was the perfect example of no might not be forever. So it wasn't just the time for you, and then you decided to make the move. So love that. Thank you for sharing that. Last question, Rishank. What is one piece of advice that you might have for job seekers out there today, especially with so many layoffs these days, especially with a lot of companies hiring? What is something that candidates could deploy in their day-to-day job searching process to increase their chances of getting their
Yeah.
dream job?
So this is interesting because I mean we've been on a kind of a hiring spree across the larger analytics team, and some of the things that I've noticed is that the candidates that stand out, one, they do their homework, which is they know why they want to join MongoDB, what attracts them to the role, as opposed to them doing more of a spray and pray strategy where they're applying to a bunch of different companies, but they're not as engaged with the company in itself. Um, Thinking about how they can add value more proactively to the organization and the company, and further the mission of MongoDB. That's and then describe their journey in a way that makes me understand where their skills lie, where their skill, where they want to grow. I don't think you need to check 20 different boxes for you to be the ideal candidate. You just need to be willing to learn and have baseline skill set, unless it's a very specialized role, of course. So with that in mind, catering your resume that end, right, making sure that you show relevant things as opposed to just a generic set of things, is one really helpful for us to be able to screen effectively, and then just being really personable and being enthusiastic about why you want to join MongoDB and why you want to join the team really helps because it tells us that you're invested in the role and you do great because you're already you know uh, you're thinking about yourself as a part of us.
No, no, I think you touched on a lot because I think certain going an extra mile can definitely reflect when you're applying for a job because a lot of people are like, oh, it's not like they might even go through my resume. But I think when you put in the effort, when you do research about the company, when you cater the resume to a specific role, just showcases how interested you are in the company because yes, it's easy to go on LinkedIn, easy apply to a lot of roles. But at the end of the day, what are the chances that you will hear back from those companies as opposed to when you apply to a company, actually do your work on the company. So thank you so much for sharing that, Rishank. Our time is up. It was an absolute pleasure learning about you, your experience, how you ended up at MongoDB, and about your wonderful team and how well they're doing in their day-to-day
Of
life these
course,
days. Thank you
I
so
will
much,
close
Rishank. It
by
was an
saying that
absolute
MongoDB
pleasure.
is still hiring for many positions across sales, customer engineering, G&A, engineering, marketing, product design, and obviously analytics. So, please check us out.
Well, you heard it from him. If you are interested, please feel free to apply.